All right, it is Hello Again Wednesday again this week. It is Hello Again Wednesday, number 44. You're going to see that, boy, I'm on just a little bit earlier than usual today, but that's okay. I got a few things that I'm going to probably have to be doing a little later on. But it is Hello Again Wednesday, number 44. And today I'm talking cookies. Okay. What is your favorite cookie and the memories that go along with it? So the reason I thought of this one for this week was because last week, early on, late in the week, it started this way with a thought process. Actually, it was early on in the last week. Connie comes out to the kitchen and goes, "Hey, who's been eating the fig Newtons?" And I'm sitting there. I am not a fig Newton fan. It was very easy to say it is not me eating the fig Newtons. And you will notice this is with all kinds of things. I'm just a little quip right in here is that you notice that. Do you remember when fig Newtons came in a large package? Or how about this? Do you remember way, way, way back when Girl Scout cookies came what seemed to be more in those tubes that they sold you for a lower price, and now the tubes got smaller. And so if I was to order Thin Mints, that's my favorite Girl Scout cookie. If I was to order Thin Mints, I could sit down with a glass of milk or a gallon of milk, and I could go through a tube easily of those Girl Scout cookies. So Connie comes in and she's like, "Hey, who's been eating the fig Newtons?" And so my thought besides not eating the fig Newtons was, you know what? The only way I would eat a cookie that's like a fig Newton is the blueberry ones. I believe they came out with, and I would eat those because they're not fig. I'd eat the blueberry ones, which is one of my favorite fruits for pies and cookies and stuff like that. Maybe pies. And so, and then Boomer comes in. He's in there and he chimes in that he's not eating the fig Newtons because he would prefer the strawberry flavored. And so fig is not on the agenda. Now, Lauren, on the other hand, didn't say a word on whether she was eating those fig Newton cookies. Now, and I'm going to, before I keep going on, my question is this. They're called fig Newtons. Is the cookie part, is that the Newton? Because we know what the fig part is. So is the cookie part the Newton? That's a question for you to answer and ponder upon. Speaking of cookies, this past weekend, every weekend after Labor Day, down in Pekin, Illinois, across the river from Peoria, we used to live there for 10 years or so, and they have a marigold festival. And we went to Pekin First Church of God up on the hill there, and they would one of the things later, they'd always try getting into the booths that made fundraisers at the Marigold Festival. And you had to wait your turn, wait your turn. And they finally got in there to where they could be one of the booths that sold something no one else was selling. And they began to sell homemade ice cream cookies. And they were huge cookies with a huge hunk of ice cream on it. And they would spend a lot of time preparing a lot of ice cream cookie sandwiches, and they were good. And a big shout out to Deb Faziato. I think she still heads it up. I could be wrong on that, but I know she's always posting pictures of the years that they have been doing the Marigold Festival ice cream cookies. And so, yeah, it's already over. If you're in that area of Pekin after Labor Day weekend, the next weekend, check out that Marigold Festival. There's a ton that is taking place there. And make sure you hit Pekin First Church of God and buy an ice cream cookie sandwich. You will not be disappointed in that. Now, speaking of favorite cookies, in my house right now, I forgot my props. As you see, I'm in my office. I forgot my props. I was going to bring what I actually have in the snack little rotunda we have in the kitchen. I was going to bring as props what is in there right now as cookies. So I'm just going to tell you what's in there. There right now is the Oreo cookies that are white. They're, I don't know if they're vanilla or whatever, but they're white. Elijah really likes those cookies in his lunch. And so he actually prefers, are you ready? The generic of those just white cookies. Sometimes you see them as tuxedos where it's one's the chocolate side and then there's the vanilla side. He prefers just the vanilla, and he would rather have, rather than Oreo, he would rather have the generic. Those go fast in the house. And so now it's just the Oreo one. We also have the original Oreo cookie. Now, speaking of memories, does that take you back to any commercials with dunking your cookie in milk? And sometimes you get those crunchies at the bottom. I think I've talked about this before, where you take a spoon and you just kind of scoop those out at the end of your dunking experience of Oreo cookies. Or how about, I think there was a ton of other commercials where you had to determine how you ate the cookie. If you cracked it open and licked off the icing that was in the middle. How many of you have ever done that on an Oreo cookie? Talking about memories, I have done that. Cracking open the cookie. I've also done, are you ready? Just throwing the whole thing, one bite into your mouth, eating a cookie that way. Now, growing up, though, oh, wait, there's more cookies. There's actually more cookies in our cupboard. There is also, besides the two kinds of Oreo cookies, there is right now Chips Ahoy chocolate chip cookies, the crunchy, the original, not the chewy. Sophie, I think for a while was liking the chewy, but now she's making her own cookies in the, well, she's, Toll House makes it where you can buy the cookie dough already done up, and she throws those into the oven and has cookies that way that are soft. And so, you know what? Plug it in. I did plug it in. I'm just making sure I plugged in my camera too. And so I would hate for that to go dead on you guys. Let me just check here on the. I'm sure it's all good. Oh yeah, I see it's all good. Okay, and so she likes those soft Chips Ahoy. I prefer the crunchy. It is in the cupboard right now. Now, to go fond memory, I have up on top of the microwave. Connie has, and I can't remember, Vootens or something. I can't remember the brand name, but every once in a while, because they're a little pricey, she buys these wafer cookies, chocolate wafer cookies and strawberry wafer cookies. Each package is its own flavor. I know you can get the generic where it's chocolate, it's like Neapolitan. You can get the chocolate, strawberry, vanilla, and I do love those. But she's buying it to where it's just chocolate only or strawberry only. The generic Neapolitan one, the Neapolitan one brings me to one of the fondest of memories. I have two fond memories of cookies. One is going to Grandma's house, and at Grandma's house, in the cookie jar would be wafer cookies, and there might be other cookies and stuff like that in there, but I loved digging out the wafer cookies at Grandma's house, and it seemed like she always had them on hand. And I'm talking well into my upper 20s or even later. I can just remember constantly going to Grandma's house and grabbing wafer cookies out of the jar. I loved them. The other fond memory growing up with cookies, my mom would make, and I don't even know what kind of cookie it is. It was sweet and brown, and not dark brown. It was like that dark tan, a tan cookie. And she would take a spoon and she would make an indent in it. And then after it was cooked, she would put strawberry jam on it. Those cookies were awesome. My second favorite cookie from Mom would be, I think they call them tiger cookies. That's the technical word. We just call them powdered sugar cookies. It was a dark chocolate cookie. And then you would just, as soon as they're out of the oven, and you can pull them off the pan, you would just dunk them into powdered sugar, a ton of powdered sugar. I loved those cookies. Those are my favorite growing up cookies that I remember. So today, hey, what is your favorite cookie? What is your favorite dunking of cookie stories? Tell me a cookie story that you have. As I think of cookies, talking about the icing of an Oreo cookie in the middle, you know what it reminds me of? And now I'm going to really freak you out a little bit here. Not freak you out. I'm going to go completely away from favorite cookies to donuts. I do love donuts. And one of my fond memories, I'm going to go on my dad's side, on dad now, is on some Saturdays in the summer, dad would want to take me and Trent, my brother, fishing. And I'm not a fishing fan, nor do, and my dad will tell you, and my mom will tell you, I hate fish even today. But I did love going fishing with my dad because we would stop, and I believe his name was Onan, and it was Onan's Donuts on 11th Street, I think. And it was always on the way to dad's shop, the screw shop that my dad worked at. And so we would get a dozen or 2 dozen donuts, one for Saturday and one for Sunday. And I really did love the filled chocolate Long Johns. Filled icing cookies reminds me of filled chocolate Long Johns. I do like Bavarian cream also, but a good fresh chocolate Long John. So, hey, if you have any donut stories, chocolate Long John stories, if you have any donut stories, if you have any shout outs for great places to get donuts, we have Randy's Donuts. If you've ever watched Iron Man, we do have Randy's Donuts down the street from us with the big donut up above the donut shop. Do love those donuts too. But there's a lot of donuts here in LA that we really like. I know there's Krispy Kreme fans talking about memories. As a youth pastor in Pekin, Illinois, we used to drive 45 minutes to Bloomington, load up a van full of Krispy Kremes, and sell them Thanksgiving weekend for a fundraiser for kids. Just some memories. What is your favorite cookie story? All right. Hey, as always, today is Wednesday here at our church, Culver City Church of God, here out on the coast, West Coast. We have our Bible study at 4 p.m. Pastor Mark is going to lead us in the first 4 or 5 chapters of Revelation, and he might even touch, because I know he's going to bounce back and forth between the minor prophets in the Old Testament to see the connection between those things in the Old Testament with those prophets and what is in the book of Revelations. You're more than welcome to join us via Zoom. Ask me, and I'll get that link to you from one of the ladies that's heading up to Zoom for our Wednesday Bible study at 4 p.m. on the West Coast here. Or come live and be in person with us. Now, as I close out this thought process of Bible study, hey, why don't you, if you can't make it to ours via Zoom, or you can't make it to our church in person, why don't you check out a church near you? And you never know, they just might be having cookies for refreshments. So I will see you next week on Hello Again Wednesday, which will be number 45. I will see you next week.